Hey, what's up? Workbringer here, and today I'm bringing you my very first timed plus 15 dungeon as a Protection Paladin. And if you're new to the channel or if you've been watching for a while, this is actually my face reveal or my debut. And I thought that would be appropriate to do now that I've got this nice Kyrian armor and that I'm doing all the 15s this week or die trying, basically. It's Keystone Master or die trying. I'm gonna try to plus 15 all the dungeons, time them for myself and for that lovely ghost mount. The mount's actually kind of I don't know, doesn't look that great. It's just a big old flex to wear on your alts to be like, yeah, I'm pushing this alt, but you know, my main, however, you know how pug life is. You need that kind of stuff, right? To my friends and family, they don't care. Right, the people I do keys with all the time, they don't even probably check the IO from like my guild. They don't care, whatever. We're just chilling. But if you're pugging it, you know, you need the IO and the mount's gonna help on my alts. So I'm superficial. I'm also a servant of the light. So we're gonna get into this, and this is a double pull here. We've pulled the soldiers and we've pulled the corpse harvester, who needs to be kicked. There was one inspiring, but I didn't care to finesse this. I just face pulled the entire pack. What are we gonna do? We're going to just face tank it and melt all of it. Now, what I would love to say is that, you know, in my 2 months of learning to be a tank, learning the dungeons, making all these videos, I don't consider myself an expert, though I will make a guide just from my perspective. I would love to be able to say, like, you know what, I'm doing these 15s and it's easy. And I've learned all the mistakes you can make, and I don't make those mistakes anymore, right? Learn the dungeon on Mythic 5, right? Or like whatever, or at a 10. I guess you need to do a 10 actually so you can get pride. Like learn them on a 10, right? Like why make any mistakes? Well, what I'd like to tell you about this harrowing timed, however, plus 15 is that this is hands down the absolute worst run I have ever done of Necrotic Wake where we timed it. Now, there's been depletes where we didn't time, but this is the absolute worst run I've ever done. Performance on my end, pretty much performance on my end. This is one of the worst runs I've ever done. And there are lots of mistakes made by me and some by the group as well. And I would say on the surface that we do not deserve to have timed this. But if you followed the meta, as of recording this, this is the first week where like the double dungeon nerfs came in, and Necrotic Wake was on the receiving side of a lot of nerfs to trash, and it's fortified week. So guess what? This dungeon's kind of like, I suppose, easy mode. But that doesn't mean I can't screw it up. So, that pack, I need it for count. Let me tell you what's a not safe thing to do. That. Oh boy. Not only is this going to destroy count if we do kill it, it's going to spawn pride. And that corpse harvester is inspired. It's inspired, so you can't stun or CC any of these things, right? I can't like you can't Ursul's Vortex and run, or I mean you kind of can because he's kind of separated, but as you'll see, Ursul's is there. It's a disaster, as they say. This is a disaster of my making. This is my fault. I have done this to us, and I apologize. There's the cheat death trinket. There's the boast. The pride is out. Now, it's actually like, it was like almost livable in a certain sense, but it was a disaster. So we have the battle res, right? It's offered, however, we just decide to go for a clean wipe. And I'm typing in chat, like, I'm like, hey, this doesn't normally happen. Like, what can you say? I'm just like, real sorry about that. Let's reset and just kill Pride. So luckily Pride didn't die. If Pride had died during that, which it was in no threat of dying, I think people might have just left, right? However, I think a good number of us in this group really need this boss for IO, for score, for Keystone Master, right? For the achievement. So I think we're all down to at least try it. And at the absolute least, right, just bank up another 14, 15 for the Great Vault, right? Like you do 10 of these and you're going to get, you know, 3 choices of 226 gear, which is what I kind of intend to do on this Paladin after. That's all I really need to do. I'll like push some for score, like some 16s and 17s after I get it, but really it's about just doing some 14s and just getting geared up, I think, at that point. So there's a nice clean judge pull right there. If I had just waited patiently like I did there with that other one, we wouldn't have had this issue. So I wanted to pull the boss up here actually, but we're going to see Wild Spirits go down, I believe. Oh no, sorry, that happened already. But this is actually slightly out of position from where I like to tank him because I wasted some area. So you can go up to the corner, right? So you want to fill up that whole corner, and I only use 2 parts of it. So this is another misplay on my part. So, you know, it's a bad run. And I want to start giving some excuses here. Can I give you excuses? Not that they matter, because being bad is being bad. So that's what really happened here. But this is actually, I think, honestly, I think this is the first or second key that I ran this entire week. So I wasn't used to Inspired. And low-key, I've been playing an alt for a little bit. So I was like a little tiny bit rusty. And I'm also playing a little bit of Holy Paladin. So this was just not everything. Not all the prop Paladin. Not all the prop pal cylinders were firing on this, and yeah, it was pretty bad. And so you might have seen again that pull that wiped us. I taunt pulled that, and you know what you're not supposed to do, and what I will be showing the correct way to do in my guide eventually is you're supposed to single pull with Judgment, not taunt. It's a different tank class that does a single ranged pull with taunt. It's not the Paladin, though, let me tell you that much. Now, you don't want to taunt, you obviously don't want to pull with A shield to get 1 mob out, but we have Judgment, so it kind of reflects a tiny bit my mind state here that I taunt pulled something. That's not the move. That is not the move, man. The more I watch this, the more mistakes that come to light. I think I said this. This is the worst run of Necrotic Wake I've timed. But I timed it. So what are we going to do? Nothing. Well, what I'm actually thinking of doing is because for consistency and for the fact that you might have a bad patrol while you're waiting, I might not pull those soldiers to get pride. I've seen it that you can actually pull the soldiers or the trash that's on the platform. There's another corpse harvester. There's another group up there. I think I'm going to kill those right after this. Not that I'm in a huge rush to do any more Necrotic Wakes now that I've done 15, right? I got to get all the other ones, but I'm going to change this route, and I'm not going to pull that. And this is it in time. Workbringer says, pulling those soldiers, it's sketch. It could be done well. It could be done poorly. And let me tell you, if you're feeling rusty or you're just not full brain about every single pack, every single pull in the dungeon, you want to make it easy on yourself, right? Unless you're trying to, like, do some big plays, like, gotta make it easy for yourself. So I'm gonna adjust the route, and this is that video, this is that run where I decided, you know what, this is enough. This is a bad route. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, or you've watched some of my other Necrotic Wake videos, I used to pull the named caster. That was just part of my route. I was like, I don't like skips, was the thought. I don't like skips, it's too much group coordination, let's just kill it. And then having died to it, wiped to it like 30 times, like many times, not 30 probably, wiping to that named caster that we're going to skip enough times on fortified, higher fortifieds, I'm like, we must adjust. We must evolve, we must bring a rogue, we must bring a priest, or we must all bring in Viz pots. So I've evolved. I won't even attempt this run without those people present, one of them, or all in Viz pots. And thus here, I shall probably not be attempting that weird patrol pull. It's too sketchy. It does have the issue of possibly taking too long, and it's bad. However, I do quite enjoy using the Anima Orb here to silence all 3 of these, because this is going to give us pride, and it's very nice to not have to heal through a lot of damage. We're all sitting at full health, except the fact that I faced the big bad towards the rogue, and the rogue dies almost. This play, I do like. I like it a lot. This is a very chill Pride. The route that I used to get Pride on the named caster. Don't do that. Do not do that at all. Oh, look at the rogue. I'm actually looking at the chat. The rogue actually apologized for taking that frontal. I suppose, yeah, we're all to blame, right? I suppose we're all to, like, I pointed it towards the raid. In general, I shouldn't. I just, in general, shouldn't. But at the same time, I suppose no one else got hit by the frontal either, so, you know, it's a misplay on the party, right? On the party. Now, the first pull, I will say, my fault completely. No one can help me there. But I suppose that's a distributed blame there, right? Distributed. I see someone with a spear, and I like it. I see a spear on someone's back, and I like that an awful lot. So, these have gotten nerfed. And thank goodness, because look what happened. So I'm doing tank rotation on these, instantly lose aggro to the hunter. That's why I still can't even get it back. That's wild spirits right there, I think. And the mage. Just when the big DPS do the big DPS, it's hard to keep aggro. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing, but it's dangerous. And I have to imagine, well, let me put it this way. The fire mages that I run with are used to losing tearing threat from me. I was gonna say I figure all fire mages must be used to it, but it might just be me. Maybe it's just I can't keep aggro to fire mages. Let me know in the comments if you lose aggro to fire mages, because I do and I expect it, but maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. But yeah, if combust and all the crits start happening on one mob, I mean, I think that's like the definition of aggro. I mean, the just a whole lot. Oh wow, look at someone ice trap to stop one of the bone carver casts on me. Thank you. That's big. I didn't catch that before. That's big play. I like that, because they nerf the damage from those, but not enough. It still hurts. It still hurts a lot. So I'm trying to face them away from the raid. So I've kind of learned. However, the first one was kind of faced towards everyone. This is the move here, though. Yeah, for sure. Like, completely shouldn't be near anybody. Positioning. You're a tank. Just think about it a little bit, right? Don't face the big sword swinging dude towards your friends. Don't do it. They die. They uber die. It's interesting if you look at how much, I mean, this is obvious because I'm a tank, how much damage I mitigate. That just passive cleave, which was, I don't know if frontals are lessened by not being the primary target, but whatever. That frontal cleave to the rogue, one shot. That was basically one shot. But for me is like, 30%, something like that. So like, this tanks do a lot of mitigation. That's obvious, I suppose. But it's interesting to see it like illustrated so visually, as their entire health bar going and mine only going down a bit. So it's health pool plus mitigation. But it's an interesting thing to talk about while we're cleaning up these shuffling corpse. Is that what that's called? I've never looked at the name of those. Those are skeletons to me. But the Blizzard, they are a shuffling corpse. Now, these got nerfed, but these bang. They're nerfed, but you do not want 3 stacks at a fortified 15. Ooh. So luckily we stopped both. I think the group knows that. I'm telling someone to go bit the spear. These things still destroy me. They hurt an awful, awful lot. So people have been very proactive with the with the stuns. Am I gonna get 2 stacks? Ooh, 2 is rough. There's my health is gonna go away. I mean, we have all the dots up and I'm self-healing too, but those hurt a lot. And I am gonna wait. No one's taking spear? Okay, someone took the spear. I casually suggested someone spear this boss because, if I've wiped on this one and there's an inspiring, I was like, okay, they say no. I say you could spear this boss and spear this, and they want to save it for the boss. I'm like, okay. Okay, so the hunter said don't use it for this. They said don't spear this ad, and then they popped cooldowns clearly. Big damage going down, so that's the call, right? However, I did say it, right? And this is where voice really helps a lot, and some of my plus 15 runs are on voice comm, so I'll comment about that when I get to those runs. But just be commenting that like, hey, this trash pack's pretty beastie, you want to spear it. Just that comment helps. Because the hunter's like, you know what? I have cooldowns, save the spear, we save the spear. And he does the cooldowns. Versus if no one speared it and no one used cooldowns, I've wiped on that pack because it gets really bad towards the end. It's kind of like Pride. If Pride gets to like 20 stacks, 25 stacks, you start wiping, right? So you gotta kill it. It's a DPS check, right? And so I'm just making sure I'm like, someone's gotta kill this. Someone's gotta kill this Pride. Someone's gotta kill this Necromancer here. See, 20 stacks. Someone should have popped a cooldown. I guess we used the cooldown on the pack before this, but this is dicey. I lay on hands the hunter because they're like damage here and like, oof. Like even if I died, the hunter probably could have finished him. You know, that was the thought, I think. Yeah. Sketch. However, what I will say, and I do notice this a lot in my plus 15 fortifieds, which I don't agree with on the whole, is that people, I think DPS really enjoy one-phasing bosses. And I do too. However, I don't like dying to trash either. So DPS, just like kind of in general, love saving their cooldowns and one-phasing the boss, like we pretty much do here. I would rather we melt trash, but on a pug, you don't have full control over it. Voice comms, kind of what I say happens for the most part. Not in a pug though. Pug, they have their own concept of it, and it either lines up or it doesn't. So if you look, there's an ad in the back that has an ice trap. That's one way of getting rid of one of the mages. You can ice trap, poly, probably repentance. I haven't tried it. Trap from a demon hunter maybe. Very fast way of handling them. You don't have to kill them. You just trap them and don't break it. We basically one phase this boss. We kind of two phase him, but almost one phase. So my orb's gone. And before this run started, I told everyone, right? Hey, after the second boss, don't go up. We've got to kill some trash. And I even wrote it out while we were killing the boss, but we killed the boss so fast, I think people were like, yeah, let's go up and kill some, and they just left. So we have one full party wipe. That is my fault. We also have a route that has backtracking, also my decision, and people go up. It's going to cost us 2 deaths. That's the only way to get back down. And also, it's costing us a lot of time. Now, what I will say, in this time that we're spending right now, huge waste, feels really bad. The patrol, however, has gone to a safe place. We're not going to have that patrol anytime soon. And we get to talk about if we're going to lust this or not. I tell them this pack is really nasty, and they say not to lust, and then everyone's just going to use their cooldowns instead. So, while we're losing massive time, yeah, there's no way you pull it there. Oh my, that's too soon for the wild spirits too, in my opinion. If the patrol comes back, we'll pull it right here, but maybe we'll just kill it fast enough. Well, we do lose time. We lose a lot of time to the deaths. We lose a lot of time to just sitting here. We do get our cooldowns back enough to just absolutely destroy this pack. So that was very fast. So while we do make a lot of mistakes, and let me say the mistakes are far from behind us. There's some mistakes behind us, but there's some mistakes in front of us to come. Although the mistakes are made, DPS is adequate enough to make up for them by like slaying bosses and slaying trash. So that's your saving grace. If everyone's 220, you can make some mistakes. If everyone's 210, you can't make any mistakes because your DPS is going to barely finish the dungeon, like in general. Maybe not for a tank. Tanks could be a little bit under geared. DPS cannot. It just doesn't work. So welcome to the Necropolis, aka the tank graveyard. There's many a way to die in the Necropolis, and I shall illustrate those places for you. The boss in here, however, pretty straightforward. The only rule, I don't want to spoil anything here, the only thing that's at play with this boss, right? Can you guess it? Only thing at play with this boss is don't miss the hook. Raise your hand here if you think missing a hook would wipe you on a plus 15. Because you know what happens when you miss the hook? Another Stitchwork comes out. And then you have to get the boss. So there's 2 Stitchworks. They do a significant amount of damage. They really complicate things because then multiple people will get the hooks. In general, if you miss a hook, it's a wipe. And if you wipe on a boss on Tyrannical, it's a key. It's a key. I'm sorry, and this is not Tyrannical, however, this is fortified. However, wiping here would be key. This would be a deplete. This would be probably not even finish. Maybe would finish it, you know? I wouldn't. I guess I would for Vault, but like I wouldn't, like, I'd be so demoralized I wouldn't really want to. You're not going to have Pride. You're not going to have Lust. So if you miss the hook, it's over. Or it's really hard, it's really annoying, and it's just demoralizing. So that's the rule. Don't miss the hook. What I would say for this pack, looking at how this goes, is this inspired soldier, you need to separate it from the group. As the tank, could have repentanced it. We could have polyed it. We could have done a lot of things. But what you do not want is a Corpse Collector free casting Drain Fluids and then free casting Gore Splatter. We almost die to these 3 mobs. Like, it's really bad. I mean, it's not like really dying, like not that close, but it's just not good. So if we hadn't had all those deaths earlier, like I'm trying to make up time here, you should separate that one. A lot of the inspiring mobs here are not so bad. I consider that soldier pretty much needs to get separated because look at Gore Splatter. It's really bad and it gets me Pride. So that's a misplay. That's a misplay on my part, and I'm just not. I haven't run a Necrotic Wake with this affix ever, and that inspiring one, I just didn't have the strat in my head at the time. I did know that it was Pride, and it was just unnecessary damage, unnecessary sketchiness. I think that we could have still had the time. Though actually, no, we didn't. We located did not have the time. So I am just like no longer CCing anything. I am making up time. I'm like, we face tank everything together and we burn it down fast, or no IO, right? No IO for me, no IO for anybody, unless they already have it. So we have Pride. And again, it's the first time I've done this dungeon on Inspired or lately. So I'm like, oh, who do we kill? Who do we kill? Okay, we kill the Inspired, right? Not that you can CC, honestly, the Kyrian Stitchwork. So in this case, you can CC the Inspired one. So probably should have killed the Stitchwork, actually. But that was the decision. They followed the decision, the marker. And with, okay, so with Lust, with Pride, we blow it up. So that's fine, right? Because the Stitchworks, they're the issue. It's the Tenderized stacks, which you'll see later on how I deal with it. They're the real issue here. So no Inspired in this one. That's nice. Corpse Collector is the target. I don't know if I skull. I didn't mark him. This is a bad run, okay? This is a bad run. If I had a better 15, I'd show it. But I don't. This is the one that I got. It's the one that I've got. Lots of misplays. Didn't mark there. Bad pull. Didn't communicate the strat enough. People went up. Faced the cleaver towards the rogue. Man, there's a lot. There's so many that can happen here. So that should either make you feel good or feel bad. I don't know. It's like, I'm bad. Like, this is bad. There is bad tank gameplay here. But I'm still tapping 15s, you know? And I watch all the videos that you watch, right? About like, oh, tanks. And yeah, at the MDI, there's no paladins. Okay, I get it. I understand that. And it affects pugging. People like want DH tank, but like, okay. Unless you are, now you want a good tank, that I get. Well, I'm gonna also lose aggro here. I think they're combusting. Or they threw a weapon, or something happened, I don't know. I'm losing aggro hard out here to just big DPS. But what I wanna say is that like, I'm gonna say this in my guide once I successfully have plus 15 them all and made the video and get the Keystone Master, is that for the record, you can be honestly an average prop paladin and still time all the dungeons plus 15 and lower. Easy. Easy. Now, the group has to do what they're going to do, and it's the accumulation of everyone's plays together, but it has nothing to do with the class. Like, I won't spoil it, but as of recording this video, I am very, very far into the progress of Keystone Master, into the point where, like, okay, obviously. And there's other paladins that are obviously way past Keystone Master, you know, like plus 20s, lots of them. However, there's still this bias towards or against prop paladins. It is unfounded. Now, if your prop paladins are getting absolutely murdered out there, it's their fault. It's their fault, you know? Like, I am very geared, I'll say that much, but I'm not dying to normal stuff. You die to mistakes. You die to lack of CC. You lack, you know, it really has nothing to do with the class. I just wanted to put that out there now. Pre-put it out there. I'm going to make like a definitive like statement video about it. And I have every single run I've done pretty much this season I have recorded. They're not all on the YouTube channel, but I have kind of the document that is the first like 50 videos or whatever I made on this channel showing me as like an undergeared, underexperienced paladin. I was like, we're fine. We're absolutely fine. Now we need a cheat death trinket. You need a cheat death trinket. That makes it a lot chiller, right? So the other popular tank who's out there has a built-in cheat death, and they're going to use it like every 8 minutes. And I use my cheat death trinket pretty liberally as well. And there's even some plays to drop stacks where, like, say I died here to 4 stacks, I'm going to divine shield instead. That's fine. If I had died, it would have cleared my stacks, and I could have healed myself through it. So it's actually a play to drop stacks as long as people can heal you back up after, right? So prop paladin with a cheat death trinket, you're good. You're good to go. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm very close to making the video on UI, on rotation, and it'll be based on getting Keystone Master, based on AOTC, so Heroic Raid, which is not massively high level, but, you know, it's something. I can put it out there now. Can be done easily. Prop Paladin, all the way up to 15, completely viable. I honestly think it's probably much further, and I'll take this Paladin Season 1 as absolutely as far as I can, just to show it. Just to show it can be done. There's, I think, Paladin Dan, and obviously Zymok, but I don't think he counts. He's not human. But there's other prop paladins out there. We need to assemble and show force so that we can get these pugs done. Anyway, we're gonna pull Rot Spew back here. If you do this route, you definitely need to bring Rot Spew back here because he's going to spawn Pride. And we've done a nice job with the trash. Thank you for the nerfs, Blizzard. Really appreciate them. Let's get this Pride down. So, however, what is the #1 rule for this boss? I'll say it while we slowly kill Pride here, because we're all saving cooldowns for what's about to go down. The #1 rule for this boss is don't miss the hook. Don't miss it. Don't miss the hook. That's it. There's nothing else. Just don't miss it. Stand somewhere where you can get to the stage. Don't be standing out in the middle of nowhere, but don't also drop off the green stuff in the front. Don't miss a hook. That's it. We got it all lined up. We've got Lust, we've got Pride, and we've got all of our cooldowns. Let's get it. Okay, immediately Taunt, immediately Time Warp. We have Lust up. Everyone's dropping full cooldowns. Storming is going to kind of ruin probably the Rogue's damage, but the Rogue's not here for damage anyway. Rogues are here for the Shroud, let's be real. We even get the on the floor hook. Lovely. Lovely. Oh, we're getting them. This is looking like a 1 phase. It's looking like a 1 phase here. We're about to get him down single digit. Oh no, runs away. Okay, but what is that? Single digit? Lol. Easy. Easy. I think he's at 7%. I'm even gonna pull him forward, right? I get the green stuff. Should be fine there. It might make it a little tricky for the rogue. Okay. All we need to do is 7%. 7%. That was it. That's all we needed. That was all we needed. And that hunter dropped off the arrow. Here comes the friend. And then died to the damn hook. I'm almost dead. However, we do have a lay on hands left. And we finished that boss. But that is one of the sketchiest over 10 kills of that boss I have ever seen. Now, I would almost rather... I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. When that hook missed and the hunter was dead, everyone, like 3 people wrote RIP in chat, which means everyone's going to disconnect. People just turn off their computer. We pretend like this run never happened. People were going to leave. They were going to leave, but so I think it was actually the hunter who died was like, he's like, we're actually fine because the guy had no health. I would say the person that got the second hook had enough composure to be like, you know what, let's go for it. I'm not going to lie. I AFK'd there for about 2 seconds. I just stood there and auto-attacked. I was like, oh, a hook missed. And our hunty hunt is dead. What happened? What happened to our bow and arrow wielding friend? Maybe they have a gun, I don't know. But that was a sad moment. However, it was recovered. And I will say, watching this back, that we don't deserve to time this. However, look at the timer. How are we timing this? I tell people who I'm talking to on Discord, I tell people in my guild, I'm like, oh yeah, lol, out of 15, you got to be serious. You can't wipe ever. You got to do all the boss mechanics perfectly. And, I have, for better or worse, empirical proof that that's not true. I have proof that you could wipe on the first round of trash in a dungeon. Full wipe. Full wipe. You can full wipe, it's okay. Apparently on a fortified. You can lose time, like 30 seconds to just people walking around doing nothing. Dying for no reason in the necropolis to come back down. You can royally screw, but then save. But you could royally screw up a boss mechanic. Can't screw up the other side, Mazala, but... And you can even screw up this boss. Someone's dead. And the health pools are looking real sad. Real sage. Those are some sad health bars. And that's a lot of health left on a boss. That's a lot of health left. Okay, so we get the battle res. Another deduction. Pretty sure battle res is counter. The death counted as time against us. Ouchies. Ouch. People very low health. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So there's no up top misplay up here. Other than the fact that our damage is barely getting through the shields, right? However, something goes on downstairs. Now, I will say I have done this as a tank many times. This is it. This is all I ever do. I've done this as a Holy Paladin. I haven't uploaded any of my Holy Paladin videos. I'm still learning it. I don't know anything about it. I'm terrible at it. I can do like +7s, and it's dirty, but I can do it. People are like 50% health the whole time. I'm really bad. But anyway, I don't know what happens to the DPS. Where do you guys go? Same with Theater of Pain. I've never DPS Theater of Pain and gone down. I have no idea what happens down there. But whatever happens down there, you can tell me in the comments. Apparently you can die. Apparently you can get hooked as a hunter on the third boss, and apparently you can die wherever you go in this one. And I guess you probably can't be rezzed. I can't battle res. My battle res is engineering battle res. I have to be on top of you. So I can't battle res. The other battle res was already used by the mage. And how do you die up here? How do you die on this boss? I've done this so many times. 14s, 13s, whatever. There's nothing different on a 15. Don't get hit. Damage is a little higher, but how do you die? How did that mage die? How did that hunter die? What's going on? I want my Keystone Master. What are we doing here? What's a bunch of jokers here? 30 seconds on the clock. Tickety talk, and we get it. Says Keystone Master. That's not the one I'm after. I need the Shadowlands Keystone Master, I think is the one. However, that's my first time 15. And we're going to get 7 more. And I get some 210 pants that I do not need at all. I've got Bist pants over there. I've Bist my pants. Yeah. So my first plus 15 dungeon timed for the channel ever. My face reveal, debut, video, beginning of the road to the Keystone Master Shadowlands Season 1 starts off with an absolute train wreck disaster. I did my class dirty. It was ugly. I hope no one really watches this too much. Maybe there's some things to learn. I'm not so sure. That mage left the group, so I can't use this portal. Just to add salt to the wounds. Now, I'm just happy. I'm like, hey, this is that 15. We pugged this 15. I'm going to get the rest, but I can't use the portal. Feels bad. I feel like I don't know how to play my class. I'm going to make it up to you guys on the rest of my 15s. I promise. I'll see you on the next video.